gonna actually start recording on my side. Just we were gonna play this, I guess, later, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put it on Ryan Bundy's channel. You put on yours. It's however you want to play it.
All right, good. Yeah. So I mean, I was familiar with basically what happened from day one. You know, followed it. Didn't do too many videos on it myself because I was, you know, following it like everybody else. But I could tell someone had been wronged, and you know, the federal government loves to take things way out of proportion, way out of control. I'm familiar with previous things that have happened from Ruby Ridge to Waco and several others, and I saw it happen, and again, I said, I already know these are good guys over here. They're getting screwed by the federal government, and then you start to do the research, the land grab, the deals with the Chinese, and all, you know, Senator Feinstein and everybody else, and
Uranium One.
Uranium One attached to that. You also have what was his name? The senator or the congressman, Harry Reid. Yeah, that son of a gun. So yeah, I heard it. Now is it who's going to be running for governor?
I am Ryan Bundy.
Okay, so Ryan is running for governor. I heard that and I said, oh my God, would that not be the most incredible like comeback thing, whatever, ever, where the guy who got screwed over by these criminals now does and pulls a Donald Trump, where he now is in charge of the state, and like kind of like Trump is, he's in charge of the federal government. You know, I'm like, oh my God, we got Trump in there. Could you imagine if any of the Bundys ran for office and made it, whatever was up, whether it was a Senate seat, a House seat, or in this case, the governor of the state. So,
you're the state.
So what made you decide to do this, to run for governor?
Well, it has to do with not just our case, but with all the atrocities that I've seen that were taking place in these trials, where the rights of men are being violated terribly, terribly bad. I studied the Bill of Rights, and if you read through the Bill of Rights from the perspective of someone who is accused, and of course, while I was accused and sitting in jail, I definitely was able to see it from that perspective. But it's interesting to see that our founding fathers were so concerned with those who are accused of crimes that half of the Bill of Rights, either directly or indirectly, have to do with protecting and their rights. I think that our founding fathers saw that either experienced or witnessed, close friends and family or whatever, violated in such ways that they wrote into the Bill of Rights guarantees that would protect from those things happening again. And yet I see today every single one of those being broken. Every single one. I was denied every single right. And when you talk about your rights in there and you demand your rights, then they just impound more pressure and more persecution upon you. And that's where a lot of the abuse come in. Now, again, I've seen this in other cases, other men besides us, that they violate their rights just as much. And so all of these rights that we supposedly have, they're not there. They're not being afforded. And so who is it that's doing this? And why isn't anyone there to protect? The only legitimate purpose for government is to aid the individual in claiming, using, and defending his rights.
Yep.
In other words, protect it. And yet government's not doing that. Where was our Attorney General, who is Adam Laxalt? Where was he? He specifically in that position to protect these rights. Where was the governor? Where was our county commissioners? Where's our county sheriff? Our county sheriff sat right on the stand and lied, bold-faced lie, in trial under oath to help convict men that have committed no crime. So where is government? Why are they not doing their job? And so, and I'm concerned about those who have been wrongfully convicted in our case and others that I've seen. And I kneel in prayer and I ask my Father in heaven, what can I do to help bring freedom to these people? How can I rectify these wrongs? And the answer came, run for governor. Run for governor. So I've done that. I'm doing that. And what will be the fruits of that? I'm not certain yet. But I can't stand idly by and let it continue on.
What's that old saying? For evil to prosper, all it takes is good men to stand by and do nothing, right? Something like that.
That is right. And
So,
and I have learned enough and I have experienced enough that I am in that position, and I would be wrong to stand by and do nothing. I have to do something.
To add to that, the other saying is, where there is darkness, evil will grow. And there's so much darkness in government because no one knows what's going on that there's so many bad actors. Evil just like swelters the land.
yeah, I mean, I've been doing videos since, honestly, I got started late 2009 on YouTube, and I cover anything I feel like I just want to talk about, whether it's politics, this kind of stuff, what happened to the Bundys, to, you know, cryptocurrencies and the fraudulent freaking banking system and Federal Reserve, all this stuff. But I mean, I've seen probably a lot of the things you've seen, and it's basically, I go back to Donald Trump, where he said, I'm going to restore the rule of law, I'm going to restore the country, give the power back to the people, you know. And I always wondered why all these courts, the judge says there's no videotaping allowed. Why not? He doesn't own the court. It's a public court. I mean, and the reason is what he just described, is we don't want you seeing people getting their rights violated right here in court when they're supposed to be protected the most. And, you know, we don't want that being put out there in the public. So that's, in my opinion, why they hide that.
Well, let me tell you what else goes on, okay? The court is nothing more than like actors in a play, like actors on a movie screen. That court is supposed to be, you know, a man's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. If a man's innocent until proven guilty, he better damn well be treated as innocent until proven guilty. But they treat a man in there as though he is guilty of murder and the worst, you know, crimes possible. They treat him all that way. And then they bring him into court. Okay, let me back up a little bit. They shackle you hand and foot, put black boxes on you. I'll have to explain that sometime. Most people don't understand what a black box is. They're torture is what they are. But you have to transport in those. You transport in black boxes, and they just treat you terrible. And then when they come to trial, they put nice clothes on you and stick you in front of the jury, you know, like a dress rehearsal and like an act. And then they explain to the jury how innocent these men are until they're proven guilty. In the meantime, their legs are shackled under the table so the jury can't see. And yet the courtroom is not supposed to be a place of detention.
That's right.
They might be holding a man in detention while he waits trial, but when he enters that courtroom, he's supposed to be a free man and treated as innocent and until otherwise proven guilty. And yet that is not taking place. And it's terrible how they treat people.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, I remember the media. I mean, again, I was just watching the live stream of this, you know, sexual assault accuser against, you know, potential Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh if he gets confirmed. And I'm like, I'm watching her. She's fake crying. There's no tears coming out. She's giggling and laughing 5 seconds before she starts speaking about getting a cup of coffee and caffeine. I need some caffeine. She's giggling, and then immediately starts reading her script and sounds like she's in tears and upset from this alleged event where she wasn't even raped. She was groped, basically, 36 years ago. Yet she's on stand looking like, oh my God, this just happened. This horrible event happened to her. And it's like, okay, you were groped, assuming that even happened. I'm like, this is just a show. Everything's so fake. And these people, like you said, they get their friends in charge, and this is my judge buddy, and this is my prosecutor buddy, and this is my attorney general buddy. It's a big club. I always go back to the comedian George Carlin. You go, you know, it's a big effing club, and you ain't in it. And it's like, yeah, he's right. So how do we get in it and or dismantle it? We got to take the power back. We've got to become a governor. We've got to become a president. We've got to become a senator.
Are first. When you get elected, you then appoint a bunch of executives into your cabinet, especially the governor. There's 21 cabinets. One of it's the department.
No, but I wanted to see my sign next to his with his floppy, and I didn't touch it. And now we touched it. And it's not going to get any.
Was he chatting with someone?
Well, he's
sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
So, well, so the club is, I mean, really, you appoint the executives once you get elected. If you control the elections, then you control the entire government. You work your way top down.
Yeah.
So if you get a governor in place, he then replaces everyone in the executive cabinet who then oversee the whole state, you know, a big majority of the state operations. So,
right. So you'll have the attorney general, right? You'll have your attorney general pick. You'll have all, I mean, you'll have so many
six
or not
elected,
attorney general. Yeah.
Attorney general is elected, but under the departments, we have the Department of Correction, Department of Education, Department of Administration, Public Safety, the police, you know, taxation, wildlife. We've got natural resources.
Right, and if you want to sign off rights to land, public land, to the federal government.
Agriculture.
Yep, you can just handle that.
And that's how it's been. I mean, I found Ryan without even knowing who he was. I had no idea about the Bundy story. I was just into crypto and living at large in Lake Las Vegas. And I saw some corruption. I saw the satanic pedophile BS make its way right into like my view. Like I was like, is that what I think it is? And so I called the police and they didn't answer. Well, they put me on hold and then they gave me something that was more eerie than a fax machine. And then, you know, then they put me on and then they said, well, if you find evidence, let us know. And I said, this is corrupt. And so I just started looking up and I knew that the answer to it. The guy, and that's how I found Bundy. And I just, out of all the candidates, he was a guy with a pure heart. He knew what he was talking about. He was a constitutionalist and he was a freedom fighter. He was right in this movement, you know, in the freedom, decentralization, crypto movement. And I joined, you know, I went full force.
So he probably could use some help financially then, I'm sure, right?
Hey, I set him all up with the crypto. He just hasn't received a dime because, you know, we haven't gotten into the crypto audience yet.
Well, I mean, even just fun, you know, whether it's PayPal or whatever. I mean, does he have a place where people can help donate to his campaign?
Oh. Well, and here's another thing is that he's advertised. And so what his old link, I mean, I'm his campaign director. So I basically got into his campaign and found all the Republican swamp rats that have embedded themselves into the campaign and pulled them into this little bubble of safety. And so now he's got this safety. And so I started calling a bunch of people. I've been working 50-hour work weeks ever since I joined this. And like, you know, there's no consistent paycheck. I'm doing this all because I know this is the right guy.
Yeah.
There is a place they can go. If they go to the website, there are places on there that they can donate. So that's GovernorBundy.com.
Okay, GovernorBundy.com, everybody who's going to be hearing this.
Yeah. There's ways to donate both crypto and U.S. dollars right on the homepage.
Excellent. So I mean, this is great because this, you know, usually these things end where the FBI comes in and, you know, we hear this story from CNN on how these bad guys attacked the FBI and they had to defend themselves and they killed them all. And you guys survived. Not only did you survive, you pretty much won in court too. So it's like, I mean, this could be the most unbelievable, epic freedom comeback story ever. Like maybe even better than Donald Trump becoming president. And I'm a big Trump fan.
Party affiliation. He's not a Republican.
Right. He's just a regular person who says this is wrong. I've got to fix things. We all do. And if we just sit back and, oh, there's 2 or 3 people I can vote for. It's the club. You're voting for, you know, A, B, and C of the same club. So it's like, no wonder why nothing changes. It takes a grassroots movement, a regular guy, to get out there and say, I've had enough. You know, vote for me. Here's my story. But the mistake was now he's got all this publicity, you know, that the elite didn't think he'd ever get. They figured he'd spend the rest of his life in jail when they were done with him. And that's not the case. Now he's out to speak and tell people what happened. And people are going to get, again, people love a comeback story like this and realize what this man went through and other people are going through. They're going to, I mean, if you can get this guy's name in front of enough people, I'm convinced he'll be the next governor, no problem. So I got to do my own part here.
We have the avenues. There's ways where we're going to reach every single person. He's now visible on Google. You know, he's got an events planner and a social media manager, and you know the whole team is finally in place. Last month is a rally. It's just going full force.
And now he's out there putting signs up himself, right? Like he's out there handling it.
Yeah. So we reached out on social media. There is someone who's going to come help him, but this is a grassroots movement. And you got to understand, man, it's not just sabotage within his team. It's sabotage like on Twitter. He's got an army of dedicated trolls against him, and it's decimating the entire community. And so it's about like regaining this momentum, bringing everyone back, and then escalating it to the point where the whole state knows. And so we all the venues, all the ways to reach people, both outbound and then inbound, and it's like a Hail Mary pass. It's like
again, this is what the deep state does. They're experts at this. Just like we saw, you remember Occupy Wall Street?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a great movement. Then it got co-opted, and nothing happened. They took over. So that's what they're trying to do with this guy. Hey, we know what he's going to do. We know he stands a chance of winning. We've got to take over this guy and bury him into the ground. But you were smart enough to see this and say, no, let me take control of this here because I see what's happening. Now they got the, again, the Twitter troll army and everybody else. It's all fake. This is all deep state stuff. When these trolls come out and you look at their accounts and you see what they're up to, you're like, wow, this is just a person that does nothing but troll. Like, this is a real thing. I remember hearing about, I don't know if it was like an executive order or something. This was a few years ago where they basically had there's legislation or whatever the hell it was about basically hired trolls. Like, they needed people to go out and just write things. So it's like, this exists. There are real people that do this for a paycheck or whatever the reasoning is that work for the government. And when I say government, I'm talking deep state side of things. We don't have a government like we used to. So
if you could, as a favor to the campaign, take some other time outside of this show to do a show where you just look through Ryan Bundy's website. I've put hundreds of hours in, and finally there's team members who are coming in, and even Ryan is also, we're building this site out so that it's thick, rich, dense, with really valuable material. His issues page is second to none, and it gets right into that. I mean, simplify government is one of our top issues, and the idea, the solution that comes to mind when you start mentioning the trolls and the dissemination of media, the propaganda, is to create a fair, unbiased marketplace for people to get their ideas out. And anyway, there's so many solutions. There's so many opportunities. There's so many things to talk about. There's so many points. It's so detailed, man. Just spend some time. Go look through that site and share it with your audience, because it's one of those things where, like, Bundy just came out 110%, and all that information is right there for you to source link.
Yeah, we just need people to get out there, share this stuff with your Twitter followers, with your Facebook people. Like, just needs to be just like keep putting pressure out there on the establishment. Put this guy's name out there. Put his website out there. Let's support this guy, whether you're in Nevada or not. Because again, if that happens, he's the governor. Oh my God, is that a statement?
And there's a few ways to help, even if you're outside of Nevada. So it's not just money, but we actually have a programmer who developed an automated system. If you have an iPhone, you can, if you know how to get a VCF file, but it's easier if you have an iPhone, you can create a group of every single person you know who lives in Nevada and send us an email, and we'll automate an email right back to you so that you, on your computer, you have a Google spreadsheet inside our little template, and then you have a list of every single person you know, and you can give them all a call and say, hey, do you know Ryan Bundy's running for governor of Nevada? Go check out his website.
Yeah, cool.
We've got all the tools in place. It's just a matter of now pushing and organizing. And Ron Paul endorsed Ryan Bundy, right?
Yeah, I mean, Ron Paul's one of my favorites. I really wish he was the guy that became president. We know how that went. They tried to bury him immediately. Oh, he wants to get rid of the CIA, and because of that, he can't be elected, And sure enough, the CIA is the freaking deep state. So he was right all along. But it took us a bunch of things to figure that out.
Ryan, what is your history with Ron Paul anyway?
Well, I first learned about Ron Paul when he was running for president. Well, not the first time, years ago he ran, but So the second time, and I think it was 2000 or 2008, whenever he ran the first time. And I heard about him, and I started to read up on him to see whether, if I should support him or not. And I came to the conclusion that there's nothing he says that I disagree with. I agree with everything he said. And so I just had to support him. So I introduced, him to, my dad. And so my dad started looking into him, and he came to the same conclusion that, hey, he's got some principles he understands, and he's a good man to support. And so we've been staunch supporters of him ever since. Now, I've met him 3 times personally, and I've been to several of his rallies and so forth. The latest, the last time I met him was actually at a meeting. We were both going to speak at the same event, and we happened to meet in the hall, and he recognized me and came up to us, and he's like, oh, my dad was with me. He's like, oh, you guys are the Bundys. And so he was all excited to see us, and we were equally excited to see him. And so we sat there and talked for a while. But Ron Paul and his his foreign policy, his principles, he's just awesome. He just has it figured out. So
awesome. That's one of my favorite guys in the whole world. So
yep, mine too.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna, I guess, cut you guys loose. I got both phones ringing, cell phone, like going crazy over here. But I do definitely support you. I'm glad to hear this, and I'm gonna put this video out, pretty quick right away, and put up the website link so people can hopefully donate and support, because we need a movement like this in this country so bad. And man, oh man, would this be a great stepping stone for other people to figure out in their states, you know what? It's time for us to do the same thing, like Donald Trump said, drain the swamp, not just federally, but in each state we've got a swamp too. So I thank you guys for having me on, or I guess I'm having you on, but for making it happen. And we will definitely chat again.
Thank you.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you for having me.
No problem. Take care.
Okay. Goodbye.
See you. All right. So I'm gonna. This was the live thing happening right now. I hit pause, but Ryan Bundy, governor. Facebook governor for governorbundy.com, as you can see. Donate. Got a donate link. You can do it right here. So I'm going to put these links up, but you probably heard some of that banging in the background. That was because I was talking to them before we started recording. They're out there hammering their own signs in the ground. Hey, but Bundy for governor. They're going out. They're handling it. He doesn't have a team or people that he could pay to go help. They don't have the funding for that. So again, it's like, man, I wish cryptos were just screaming right now, like screaming high. So it'd be easy to break off a nice chunk of cash and say, hey, let's go help this guy. Even I'm in Florida, but I don't care. I don't care where I'm at. That's not important. What's important is getting a guy like this involved in actually winning. Involved in politics, real politics, not the freaking politics we know today where it's all fake and it's like the freaking criminal. Again, it's the whole political system has been used as someone's piggy bank, someone's military, someone's police department. Like they're like criminalizing, or it's become a criminal enterprise basically, and they get to use all the resources. Oh, I get to choose this guy and that guy, and oh, we don't want to take that case. The attorney general, he's my buddy anyways. We're not going to take that case. Well, why? It's a huge case. Oh, well, Again, you pick people, and then they get to pick a whole bunch of others. Yeah, I guess the attorney general is someone you vote for normally, but there's so many people under that you don't know about that have positions of power that shouldn't, and get those positions the second their guy gets in as governor or president or whatever. Which is why now that Trump's president, he gets to go top down, clean this level out, see ya. They clean the next level out, see ya. Put his guys in there, who will then put their guys in, which should hopefully be freedom-loving people. So anyways, we've got to support Ryan Bundy for governor of Nevada. Take care.